tonight we're gonna make some thin skirt steak into slices, but first we're gonna do some potatoes with pico de gallo in there. The potatoes are finely diced. You can see that right here. Give me just a second so I can show you. They're like small French fries, and then I dice them. So we're gonna put that in a pan with some oil. Pan fry these till they get a good consistency and color, and so they're cooked through, because when the meat goes in, the meat is just going to be quick flash cook. We don't want to overcook that. Skirt steak is very sensitive. It'll get kind of tough if you overcook it, so that's what we're going to try to avoid. So we'll see that in just a minute. Add a little bit of garlic salt. I know there's pepper in pico de gallo, so I'm not going to add any more pepper. I don't want to overdo it on this. But the potatoes will absorb some nice garlic salt. These are going to be yummy. So we got to make sure that we're browning the potatoes pretty evenly. See that? So we're doing pretty good. We'll taste one. See, consistency should be like an almost like the inside of a baked potato that is almost cooked. So it's not going to be complete, it's not going to be soft or mushy. It'll give some give, like pasta that's well done. That way when we add this, it'll finish cooking, but it'll still have some firmness. So here's the skirt steak, and I'm going to go ahead and make pieces that are about this here. So that way it'll cook really quickly. Alright, we're back. That was the smoke alarm. It happens sometimes, especially when you're cooking something high heat, or when you live in a house like we do, where the air just goes that way. Anyway, now we got windows open and door open, so hopefully no more fire alarms. And I add a little bit of oil to that to get that right. So now let's get these steaks right size, and yeah, you see that? So these are 4 pieces each. It's pretty thin. I'm gonna finish putting these together, and then I'm gonna set a marinade. I'll be right back with that. Alright, so now that the potatoes are at the consistency of like an almost done hash brown, lower the heat a little bit. Make sure you give it one last little thing of love. You lower a little, you want to keep that cooking. And for the meat, we're going to add a little bit of marinade right before it goes in there. So it's going to be a little wet, which means it's going to smoke up a little bit. We're doing a little bit of a teriyaki. The pairings. A little bit of olive oil. Once you got that going, you're going to use both your hands and kind of mix it in there really nicely. Remember, we already added a little bit of salt to the potatoes, and there's going to be some in the pico that goes in. So now that we've already lowered the temperature on this, we're going to go ahead and add the pico de gallo. The moisture is going to give us a little bit of a temperature difference, so we're going to let it go up in temperature again, but not too cold. And then the last step will be adding the marinated skirt steak So we're gonna have steak for dinner tonight. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so the pico de gallo has been in there with the potatoes for about 3 minutes. Enough to soften the veggies. You still want some tenderness to that. So the next step is going to be putting in our meat. And I'm going to do that. And I am going to cover that for a minute. So I covered it, brought the temperature back up because I want to get real hot, but I want to keep that moisture in there because I'm also going to make that meat not get, just stay tender. And there we have it. You can see this meat is almost, it's partly cooked, but it's to the point that now if we mix everything, it'll cook with the heat of the potatoes, it'll cook with the veggies. The salsa is going to be yummy in there. And it's going to be very tender. The small pieces are also going to guarantee that it's, it's great. If you have you can have it as tacos. If you have for leftovers with some huevos, some eggs in the morning, it's not going to get tough on you. You don't have to be fighting like you have to do with skirt steak. And there we go. We pretty much have it. You can take a look. It is done now. It may seem like there's a little bit of red in that, but I'm going to cover it. It's going to stay covered for about 2 minutes. The flame is off. In fact, it goes off of there. And that's going to finish cooking it perfectly. So while I'm waiting for the skirt steak to just be done in the pan there in the heat by itself, I heat up tortillas. That gives you just about the right time. I've got both small flour and corn, white corn here, so you can have little tacos, soft tacos. Depends on your preference. I like the corn, but I also like the flour every now and then. So now we're ready to serve, and what I can do is a little tortilla right there. Very yummy. Some of the juice to come out. And there we have it. And that's perfect.